Have you ever felt a strange little nudge in your spirit? Like someone gently tapping your shoulder, but there's no one there? That quiet whisper that says, "Wake up," even though you're not asleep? That might have been the first spark of Kundalini saying, "Hey love, I'm here." Hey yeah. Welcome back to the Dressing Gown Diaries, where we keep it comfy, chaotic, and just a tiny little bit confessional. Today we're stepping into the world of Kundalini. Not the Instagram version, not the dramatic movie version, but the real lived experience of spirit rising from within. And it all begins with a spark. The funny thing about Kundalini is that it doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it creeps in slowly, ever so slowly. A feeling, a knowing, a shift in the air around you. Something inside whispers you're not meant to stay the same. And suddenly the life you've been living feels too tight, too constricted, like clothes you've outgrown but refuse to admit don't fit anymore. Kundalini energy is often described as a coiled serpent resting at the base of the spine. I see it more as a sleeping power, a deep ancestral wisdom curled up and patient, ancient and loving. It doesn't rush you, it doesn't force you, but when it's ready to move you forward, just know it's gonna tap. Sometimes that spark shows up after a crisis. Sometimes it shows up during the most ordinary moments, while you're cooking dinner, washing dishes, scrolling through TikTok, late at night. Sometimes it comes through a dream you just can't shake. Sometimes it's a wave of emotion you don't quite understand. And sometimes it's simply a quiet awareness that something in your life is calling you higher. The spark isn't the awakening itself. It's the invitation. It's the knocking at the door, the message that your soul has decided you're ready for. It might feel like excitement mixed with fear. It might feel like clarity mixed with confusion. It might feel like being pulled forward toward a version of yourself you haven't met yet, but you can feel her breathing just behind you. The spark isn't about doing, it's about noticing. Because once you notice, you can no longer unnotice. You cannot unnotice what you have noticed, just like you cannot unsee what you've seen. Alright? So let's take a breath. Welcome to the Writer's Corner, my sacred space for soulful storytelling and creative truth-telling. This part of the Diaries is where I trade business for beauty and noise for nuance. And this week, I want you to write from that tender space inside you. the one that notices things before your mind knows what to do with them. Kundalini doesn't always arrive with lightning. Sometimes she slips in ever so quietly, like a sentence you can't stop reading because you know it's trying to tell you something. That subtle shift, the breath you didn't realize you were holding, the urge to pause mid-movement, the sudden awareness that your life feels a little too tight around the edges. That's your spark. So, this week I want you to sit with the question, where in my life do I feel a quiet whisper asking me to grow? Don't overthink it. Don't force it into neat and tidy little lines. Just let the words move. Let the letters and the sentences move you. Write about the moments where you felt the nudge, the dream that wouldn't let you go, the emotion that rose without explanation, the ordinary moment, stirring a pot, folding laundry, eating your dinner, when something inside you whispered, this isn't it. This isn't it anymore. Let your pen follow the feeling of outgrowing your old self. Let it wander around the spaces that feel too small. Let it acknowledge the version of you waiting just behind your shoulder, breathing softly, patiently, lovingly. Because this week's reflection isn't about action. It's about awareness. It's about catching that first spark before your mind tries to explain it away. And it will. It will try to do just that. Right into the invitation. Right into the knowing. Right into the tap on your spirit that says, my darling, you ready for more? And remember, once you notice the spark, you can't unnotice it. Your writing will show you what your soul already knows. So here's my little take on the spark. It's a poem. It wasn't lightning, no thunder, no roar. Just a whisper in the ribcage, saying you're meant for more. A soft breath of knowing, a shift in the unseen. Like my spirit stepped forward before my body caught the theme. It came in quiet moments, the dishwater, the midnight scroll, a small tap on the shoulder from the oldest part of my soul. Not an awakening, but the invitation to rise. A doorway made of stillness, a truth I can't disguise. Because once you feel the spark, you can't return to who you've been. Something ancient starts unfolding and the new life calls you in. Ain't that the truth? So now it's your turn. Have you ever had a moment, big or small, where something inside whispered, you're not meant to stay the same? It could have been a dream, a sudden emotion, a quiet knowing, a conversation, or even a moment doing something completely ordinary. Share your spark moment with me and put it below. And tell me, what were you doing when you felt the spark? What shifted inside you? And how did you know something was calling you higher? Your timing, your spark. Kundalini doesn't wake up overnight. It begins quietly, respectfully. Like spirit asking, may I come in? And in this episode, all I want you to do is recognize the spark in your own life. When did you feel the nudge? That tap? That whisper? Because that's where your story begins. So let's see what the cards have to say about this, shall we? Okay. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. It's been a while since I did a recording. I don't know what got into me. It's been a while. I think I just burnt myself out a little bit and just needed to take a break, have a moment to relax, sort myself out, deal with myself, so to speak. I've been quite overwhelmed, you know. Christmas is coming, the end of another year. The pressure's been on. Everybody's feeling it at this time of year, aren't they? I know. I don't know. But there is no rush. I've decided it's time to slow down. I've been going full throttle. You know what? I come to realise, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So, best thing to do is put in the work and let nature take a course. And here's the card I pulled today. Fate. Fortuna. Fate. As I was saying, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So let's see. There's no point worrying about it. And Lord knows I like to worry. But you know what? I've been doing more meditation lately and trying to get to grips with my house. Oh my gosh. Things constantly need doing in the home. They call it maintenance. But I'm grateful to have somewhere to live. So I've decided it needs an upgrade. So slowly but surely, I got to do it. But you know, all these things take time. So, Enslaved to rota fortunae, brought down low, thrown up high. Circle of life offers a new slate. Choices made now will seal your fate. By the power of the dark goddess in me, protection in place, blessed be. Be careful with your money spending at this time of year. You know, you can't change anything other than yourself. You can't buy happiness. You can't buy friends. You can't buy honesty. You can maintain your life. You can make the life you want. And that's the best way to spend your money. Invest in yourself. Make wise choices. And look before you leap. You know, if you're going into any deals with anyone, make sure you know who they are. Because sometimes you have to get the truth from the horse's mouth. You know? Sometimes it's better to ride out a storm alone and give yourself time for calmer days ahead. Be good to yourself and always listen to your hunches. Do not ignore them, lest you be sorry. It's funny how in a deck of cards, though, you can get the same cards over and over and over again, and I've always found that really, really, really strange. Because some cards don't ever get touched out of a whole deck. So I just want to see if I can pull a second one, just to see what comes up. Join my VIP list, where you can get first access to my work. That's where the magic is. Because real ones don't just scroll by. They walk with me. I'm Yema, and this has been the Dressing Gown Diaries, episode 31. I know it took a while for me to get there, but I'm back. So here's to reclaiming your peace, one deep breath at a time, and one little luxury at a time. So, in parting, yeah, the same card came up. Look at that. I shuffled the deck, you know. Fate. It is what it is. Till next time. Stay strong, stay soft, and if all else fails, light a candle, lather up, and remind yourself you deserve nice things too. Peace.